Thank you for joining me for yoga today. What you'll need is a mat or carpet, it depends on where you're at, and maybe 2 blocks or a stack of books, and a strap or a belt, and some blankets or a pillow, something for you to be comfortable on. So maybe sitting up tall, maybe snaking that rib cage a little bit, maybe rocking it back and forth. Very nice. Good. And then maybe rocking it front and back, gently. Let's keep it front right here. Maybe walking our hands in front of us. If that's not available to you, feel free to use those blocks on whichever height feels best for you. So kind of leaning into this, getting a lengthening through the arms, maybe relaxing that head. And then maybe walking those hands over to one side and reaching. As we're doing this, we're keeping that opposite glute and leg to the floor. Good, and then let's take it to the other side. And again, if you have books, you may want to have a stack of books here and a stack of books here. You'll be moving books, but right there. And blocks can be easy to get. They've got them on Amazon. You can get strapped to, and I don't think that they're too expensive. But books work too. Good, and then let's bring this back to center. Let's go ahead and put those to the side. Let's reach our arms up towards the sky. Good, and I'm going to drop one hand. So I'm going to drop it, and I'm actually going to place my block here. I'm going to drop my hand to my block, and I'm going to reach over. Good. And if you're finding that it's crunching up by your ear, then you might want to take your hand to the floor so that you can lengthen through that. And then let's lift this up. And then take it to the other side. And again, hand can be on block. Reaching that. And let's lift this up. Good, and release our arms. Let's clasp our hands behind us. Now, if your fingers aren't clasping together, go ahead and use that strap to take your arms behind you and drop your chin. Very nice. Let's lift our head to center and then drop our chin again. And lift our head to center. And then go ahead and bend at those elbows, and you can release the strap if you were using it, or release the hands. And let's reach up again. This time let's reach our fingers towards the ceiling, nice and tall. And let's clasp our hands, palms facing towards the sky. And again, drop that chin to chest. Inhale it deep here. And exhale. Lifting that head center. Inhale it deep. And let's sigh on our exhale. And again, inhale it deep. And sigh on our exhale. And slowly let our arms float to the floor. Either to the floor or to the knees, whichever feels the best for you. Let's go ahead and take one hand, and we're going to place, I'm taking my left hand, placing it onto my right thigh, and gently, I can take my hand to my side, or if it's available to me, taking it right behind me, right behind my spine, so on the floor behind my spine, and getting a gentle twist here. Inhaling it deeply, and exhaling it, and inhale, and exhale. Good, let's bring this back to center. Nice. And we'll take it to the other side. So gentle twist, Hand can be to the side or it can be behind. And let's inhale here and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Very nice. Bring this back to center. Good. Roll our shoulders a little bit. Roll them back. And rolling them forward. Good job. Let's go ahead and take our legs, and we'll go ahead and take them into our kind of like our zigzag right here. So feeling free. Now in our zigzag, we're going to do similar what we did in the earlier part of our warm-up. You can use your blocks here. We're going to get a hinge and open up that hip. Now, if you need support, go ahead and use support for that. Again. And then maybe walking those blocks out and hinging into this. So now we're kind of opening up that right hip. Breathe it here. And inhale. And exhale. And then let's go ahead and gently walk this back up. Very nice. And let's switch those legs. So you can use that pillow for the other side if you need support for the back, for your glute back here. And sitting that up tall, maybe recognizing if there's difference between the sides. Are you tighter on one side than on the other? But finding a little bit of comfortable stability here, and maybe walking those hands out or using your blocks or books here. Hinging a little bit so that you can open up that inner thigh and that hip. Inhale it deep. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Very good. Very nice. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Now we're going to take ourselves onto all fours. So we're coming onto all fours. And our shoulders are over our wrists and our hips are over our knees. And we're going to go for a balance. So let's lift our leg up, lifting right leg and flex through that foot. Now you may leave it here. This is a wonderful balance right here as you're lifting your leg and squeezing your glute. If you would like to go a little further, you may lift your arm. You don't have to. And remembering anytime you fall out of the pose, it's just as important as staying in the pose because you're building strength to get back into that. So building that muscle memory, building that strength, breathing it here. And then let's release the arm and gently release that leg. Good. Taking ourselves back into a child's form right here, reaching through our arms, maybe taking that head down. And if there's a lot of space between your glutes and your heels, feel free to use that pillow or your blanket. And then let's bring ourselves back up, finding our alignment again. Our shoulders over our wrists and our hips are over our knees. This time let's take our left leg up and flex through that foot. Now you may leave it here, or if you'd like to practice that balance, more of the balance, you're doing the balance with the leg. If you'd like to practice more, maybe lengthening through that, and again remembering that coming out of the pose is just as important as going into it. Especially as you're learning these and your body is building stability so that it can balance better and strengthen your core. And then let's gently release and release the leg and take ourselves back and reach through those hands, through those arms. Maybe walking our hands over to the right and sitting our left glute to our left heel. and walking hands to the left and sitting the right glute to the right heel. And bringing this back to center. Good, let's bring ourselves up, and we're going to take ourselves onto our backs. Take ourselves onto our backs. Line our feet up with our knees, and our knees are lined up with our hips. Have your blocks or your stack of books close to you. We're going to press through our feet, lift our pelvis to the sky, and you can take your block on whatever height feels best for you. We're taking it right underneath the sacrum, so right kind of below where the belt would go, so that your low back can rest here, and you can take that to whatever height feels best for you. Helps you to release. Gently, let's release the books or the block and slowly lower pelvis down towards the floor and reach behind one knee, pull that in, and then release that and reach behind the other knee and pull that in and release that. Now taking the block, we're going to take it between the knees. If you have a book, it might not work for books, so you don't need to use anything for this part. But if you've got the block, then take the block in between the knees, and let's line ourselves up again for our bridge. This is very good for working our core, strengthening our back, and strengthening our glutes. So let's press through our hands, through our elbows, and through the triceps, so the back of the upper arm. And as we do that, we're going to press through the heels of our feet. We're going to squeeze our glutes as we lift our pelvis. You got everything working here. A lot of things going on. The chin is to the chest. And you've got to keep that block there. So that means that your knees are squeezing together. So that means that your legs are engaged. So this is a full body exercise right here. And holding this here. Deep inhale. And exhale. And deep inhale. And exhale. Slowly lower all the way to the floor. And release. Release that pelvis down. You can release the block. And reach behind one leg, pull that in. And then release that. Reach behind the other leg, pull that in. And release that. Grab that block again, or no block. But lining that up, feet lined up with the knees, knees with the hips. And let's lift, so pressing through hands, elbows, triceps. So now we've got that upper body engaged, pressing, shoulder blades go underneath, chin to the chest, our lower body's engaged because our feet are pressing into the floor, and our glutes are squeezed. From here, we're going to lift our heels, or lift our toes, flex through our feet. So that will engage those inner thighs even more right here. And if it's burning, that's normal. Good, flatten through those feet. And slowly lower that down. Very nice. And release that. Good. Release that block. Reach behind one leg. Pull that in. And let that go. Reach behind the other leg. Pull that in. And let that go. Good. Back into bridge. So lining yourself up again, feet with the knees and knees with the hips, using those arms, elbows, triceps, Squeezing those glutes, pressing through feet, lifting it up. Now we're going to lift our heels. So we're going to press through our toes and the balls of the feet and lift those heels off of the floor. And holding it here. This one's a little easier than the toes in the air and the heels on the floor. And then let's gently flatten through those feet and slowly lower that pelvis all the way down to the floor. Very nice. Release that block. Let's reach behind the knee, pull that in, and release. Reach behind other knee, pull that in, and release. Very nice. Let's take both of our knees, reach behind them, and let's drop both of them over to one side. Taking those arms out into that nice capital T. And you can look up at the ceiling or sky, or you can look away from your legs. Get that wonderful twist here. And as you're in this twist, maybe taking stock of your body, your mind. Where's your mind at? And then where are you feeling this in your body? Are they connected? Is your mind saying this is what's going on, or is your mind somewhere else? So taking stock of that. Good. Let's gently bring this back to center and drop it to the other side. That nice capital T. And one side may be different than the other. So recognizing that as well. Maybe taking stock of that. Maybe being curious about why that might be an issue. Bring this back to center. Good. Low back pressed into the floor. Let's reach behind one leg and take one ankle. So I've got my right leg, and I'm going to take my right ankle onto my right thigh, or kind of my foot. And I'm going to reach behind my thigh and pull that in towards me. If this is not available to you, then reaching behind the foot and behind the knee gently and pulling that leg towards you. So this is opening our hip a little bit, where we keep a lot of stress, a lot of tension in that hip, outer hip, inner hip. And then gently release that. Let's go ahead and switch, taking ankle or foot to the thigh, reaching behind that, or reaching behind the foot and folding. Again, whatever is going to work the best for you. Good, and then release that. And today we're going to do our final relaxation with legs against the wall. So bringing your blanket or bringing your bring whatever's going to make you feel comfortable. Bringing that next to the wall, and then putting the pillow behind you. So you're scooching. See how I'm scooching myself up close to the wall, kind of putting my glutes there, and then I'm taking myself down and squishing myself up a little further. So bringing my legs up onto wall, got a pillow behind me. My arms are out and my feet are flexed. And breathing it here. We've got that nice inversion. And my feet are just relaxed for right now. We'll do a little bit of movement here, and then we'll relax into it. So kind of maybe flexing through our feet right here. Toes are kind of going down towards our shins. Good. And then maybe walking our feet down a little bit, pressing into that wall, and then walk our feet back up. Good. And then taking our hands by our sides, we're going to walk those feet up further towards the ceiling. And as we do this, our chin is going to the chest. And if you've got a good pillow behind you, that feels really good for the neck. So lifting this up So lifting this up, and we're going to slowly walk it back down towards the floor, and then maybe walk our feet down a little bit to release that a little bit. We're going to do that part one more time. And then let's get ready and bring those feet up, and then begin to walk those feet up. I'm using my hands and my elbows just like we did in our bridge, kind of using that strength of the arms, but we're also using the strength of the glutes, the legs, the core. Breathing it here. Good, and then let's slowly walk this down. Good, maybe walk those feet down a little bit, release that, maybe take a little side to side. Good, and then take our legs back up. Very nice. And this is where we will end here today, with legs up against the wall. If this is too much, if your legs aren't ready for this much against the wall yet, that's fine. Feel free to drop those legs over and bring yourself onto your side. So again, whatever works for you, this is your time. It's your body. I don't live in it, so what's going to work for you? That's what the fun of this is, trying to figure out what is going to work for you and your body. So finding yourself in whatever relaxation is going to work for you today. Maybe taking stock from your toes to the crown of your head. Continue to stay in your relaxation, but I want to thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being faithful in your self-care, for working on the strengthening of your low back, your upper back, your legs, your abdominals, and your glutes. Stretching and strengthening. Again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you later. But I'll keep the music on for a little bit longer.